that was reserved for families and for neighborhood and for community and for private markets and for places of worship and for charities, and on down the list. The people and places and things that were non-governmental are now being encroached upon, being burdened, being discouraged, being taxed, being regulated, being taken over by the government, and that not only grows government and grows budget and makes the government spending worse, which you need to stop, but it does something else that's even more corrosive. It says to the American spirit, we're discouraging you. It says to our American spirit, we're being discouraged. And this country is a great country in large part because we're free. We're people who dream and innovate and invent and design and associate and worship and have our version of the American dream, and I've lived it. But we're a great country because we're free, and that's different than much of the rest of the world. It sets us apart. It makes us great. And now we have a government that is so big, so expansive, so burdensome, so discouraging, so bureaucratic, so expensive, that it is suffocating, stifling, discouraging the American spirit. I was in California not long ago, and I talked to some very successful people, and they said, hey, look, if you want to run for president, we'll support you, but we hope you don't waste too much time in California. I said, what? They said, well, we're so discouraged, we don't even want to participate here anymore. That can't be the American attitude. We're a strong people. We're an optimistic people. We're hopeful. We got to have a can-do attitude, not just in Iowa and Minnesota, but California and everywhere across this country. So that's principle number one. Turn towards God, not away from God. Number two, and this one's hard, and I know you had lunch and it's sunny outside and it's getting to be nap time maybe for some of us, but I'll say this one slowly in case there's some Democrats who watch this on the news so they can follow along too. Are you ready for it? It's complex. We can't spend more than we take in. You can't do it as an individual. You can't do it in your family. You can't do it in business. And we can't let the government do it anymore. There's a great debate going on in Washington, D.C. right now about whether they're going to spend $3.65 trillion or $3.7 trillion. The problem is they're only taking in about $2.2 trillion. This isn't a debate between 3.65 and 3.7. We've got to have profound structural reform of our government at Washington, D.C. It is out of control. We have a President of the United States, the leader of our country, the leader of the free world, who in the face of the biggest financial challenge in the modern history of this country, facing trillion-dollar deficits as far as the eye can see, says over 10 years he wants to cut $400 billion. Now, if you average that out, that's $40 billion a year. We're going in the hole $1 trillion or more a year. He's not even in the same orbit. Now, I don't question, his birth certificate, but I do question what planet he's from when it comes to public policy.